In episode 532, Ryan and Jose are joined by David Blair for another Book Club of Blood episode. This time we cover Volume 4's The Body Politic. Plus we get into some Hellraiser news and shoutouts to our friends. This is the Clive Barker Podcast, where longtime fans, Ryan and Jose, interview guests, bring you the news, and take deep dives into Barker-related stuff. This episode will be available in podcast audio and YouTube video. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. There's even a paver in Washington, D.C. representing Celebrate Imagination. We're thrilled that this worthy cause is sponsoring our podcast again this year, and we hope that you'll consider looking over his Pinterest page and commissioning a painting of your own. For commissions, Don requires no money down, and there will be no obligation on your part. You can also head over to the Etsy shop to buy one of his books, like A Chimney Sweep's Tale, Celebrate Imagination, or The Imaginaries. Follow the link in the show notes or click on the side banner and let's see what's new with Don Bertram today. Check out his most recent paintings, A Little Something Fishy 2 and Pork Rinds. Let's welcome our other sponsor, Ed Martinez, and his YouTube channel. Lots of great special effects videos and Barker-related content. What's the latest from Ed? We have a new sponsor. It's the Now Playing Podcast. Arnie, Stuart, Justin, Marjorie, and Brock host a long-running movie review podcast and have a comprehensive blog with book reviews. Check out this one on the Hellbound Heart. They've even written a book on underrated movies. They started in 2007, but the podcast really took off when they began doing movie retrospective series in 2009, like when they did Friday the 13th or all the Stephen King movies. They've even covered Clive Barker movies in some Patreon exclusive episodes. Please check out the Now Playing Podcast, and if you love it like we do, you might want to help out their donation drive. Here's their most recent stuff. Check out their podcast reviews of Disclosure Day, Agatha All Along, Tropic Thunder, Masters of the Universe, Roar, The Birds 2, Mandalorian, and Grogu. Well, welcome. This is episode 532 of the Clive Barker Podcast, and we haven't had an episode for like a month. Events have conspired against us from recording. First, we kind of missed it, and then we were going to do the next weekend, and then I got really sick. And then the next weekend, I was going to Florida to visit my dad, and I went to Disney World and the Kennedy Space Center and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Oh, wow. That must have been really nice.
Yeah.
And I broke a rib.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, and you broke a rib around that same time that I was in Florida.
So it's been a while. We got a lot to catch up on, and we got David Blair with us again, as usual.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us, David.
Sorry that we had such a long time between episodes. We used to be weekly, and then we went to bi-weekly, and then we had some problems, and it's been a little while. But we're back, and we've got, before we get into our, obviously, if you're reading the title of this episode, it's The Book Club of Blood and the Body Politic, right, from Volume 4. And I left Volume 4 in my house, so I don't have it with me. We'll get there. But first, there's some news that we've missed since we've been away for so long. So we want to try to get that first. The first one that I found while I was on vacation is that Boom Studios announced that there's going to be new Hellraiser one-shot comics. They call them Hellraiser Resurrection. It looks like 5 of them. Hellraiser Resurrection's New Wounds, The Onanistic Ritual, Deep Gospel, Hell's Council, and
The Return of the Priest. Okay, yeah, and it looks like each one of these is going to focus on a particular Cenobite, right?
Yeah.
The original.
Well,
4.
at least the covers seem to familiar with these writers and artists, at least in terms of like, I don't think that they did Hellraiser Boom comics before.
I think the name Zach Thompson sounds familiar, but I think you're right. The first one is called New Wounds. I'm assuming this is going to be kind of like each issue is probably going to be maybe self-contained, but there might be some little things that are going to arc through. So
it's funny that they do these one shots, but they put number 1 on them as if there's going to be another one.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah. The first one is written by Mike Costa, an artist, Paco Camalonga. And I think this is about an investigation in the puzzle box and something goes sideways and the gates to hell are open again. Someone probably opened the box. Hellraiser Resurrection, the onanistic ritual is going to focus on the Chatterer, I think. It says here in Bloody Disgusting's article, the Chatterer bears his teeth for a brand new mission. His goal to reclaim his rightful place as the right hand of the Hell Priest himself. So it's cool that we're going to focus on these 4 Cenobites.
And their internal politics.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Back to basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The second one is going to be Deep Gospel.
Yeah.
And that's going to be from writer Teenie Howard and artist Jenna Cha. And this one focuses on the female Cenobite, apparently, and the engineer. So we're going to see the engineer. We don't see enough of the engineer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. They seem to be expanding some of the lore, because for this one, it says female Cenobite was dead or close to it, probably from the early Boom comics. I remember she was doing something with Kirsty, and I don't remember exactly what happens when the whole Hell War happens, but it says here she was supposed to be dead.
They also all got killed in Hellraiser 2.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she was dead or close to it.
Yeah, I wonder where they're going to pick up. The movies or the last comic series or whatever,
I would probably say the comics. So the engineer wants to fix her up. The engineer wants to fix up bring her back.
Oh, yeah. The engineer, they kind of set them up as like creatures that put people back together when they're cut up into pieces.
Oh, okay.
From what I remember from the Boom comics.
In the comics, she was pretty self-possessed, and she always was playing her own side. And it says here she rejects the engineer's plans for her remaking, and she's cast down into the harrowing Nidus, Nidus, the place where the larval stage of the Cenobites fight to survive. I wonder what the larval stage of a Cenobite is. Seems kind of new in terms of lore, right?
Cool.
Yeah, the Nidus. I wonder if this is created just by these writers, or if Clive Barker had any sort of influence on this.
Yeah, that's true, because at the start of the Boom comics run, Clive Barker was giving them the stories. And then it kind of spun out and handing the stories off to new writers all the time.
Yep. And then the Butterball, one of my favorites. Butterball is going to show up in Hell's Council. So that's going to be the third book. And it says here, we saw the fall of Hellbound at the end of Hellbound Hellraiser 2. So it looks like this one's going to pick up after the movie. Now we'll witness his rise as the wounded Cenobite is taken in by a mysterious do-gooder, slowly nurses him back to health, all while worming her way into his brain and maybe even his heart. So wait a minute. Let me see if I understand. Is this going to be like Butterball gets the roof falls on his head at the end of Hellbound? Oh no,
Hellraiser,
Hellraiser, yeah. And then someone finds him and nurses him back to health. That's definitely going to be interesting to see. Can a Cenobite fall in love?
Yeah. Or isn't it one of the Halloween movies? Some guy nurses Michael Myers back to health right after he got blown up or something.
On the fifth
and then he
one,
kills it. As soon as he finally wakes up, he kills that guy.
Yeah, I think it's on Halloween 5. And then finally, the event will culminate with Hellraiser Resurrections, The Return of the Priest, number 1. All of these chapters are called number 1.
Number 1, yeah.
And that's going to be by Sarah Gailey, writing, and artist Alessio Avallone. We're going to focus on the Hell Priest, right? So it says here, caught on the sensory deprivation of middle hell, Elliot Spencer suffers the worst fate, no feeling at all. When the glory of Leviathan's light finally sears through him, granting him the gift of pain, it's revelatory. He must journey to remake himself and gather his gash once more to bring the cherished blessing of pain to all that deserve it. So it's like a reviving. I wonder if they're bringing this up to create a new series down the line.
Yeah, it seems like they're trying to see if it's going to gather enough interest. Because it definitely feels like a reboot.
Did you guys sign up for those Hellraiser Kickstarter that Boom Comics was doing to bring those 3 volumes? No,
because I have all those books, and so I just thought it was a lot of money for something that I can, with a little more effort, I can still read those.
That's true.
I just have to open all the plastic bags.
I wonder if it was the interest in that project that brought about this new release of
I think so, because that made almost over $800,000.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
It blew way past their goals, and I mean, it unlocked all the goal stretches, and
there were two of them, right? One was the Boom Studios, and one was the Epic run.
There are three. They had a Boom, and then the second one was all the smaller runs together, and then the third one was the Marvel stuff, the Pinhead, the Horror Wars, and then Hellraiser 3. The graphic novel.
It said like Books of the Damned volumes 1 and 2, but not like 3 and 4.
Yeah, just one of them, just 4, not.
The
third one was just like a hodgepodge of everything else.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, this was the Kickstarter called Leviathan's Vault. Boom Studios created, and they got like almost 2,500 backers, like David was saying. Yeah. So they gathered up almost like $1 million. Well, 900,000, 884,086. So that's pretty good.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, and I bet there's Hellraiser keeps getting new fans all the time, and I bet there's a lot of people that missed out on those comics when they first came out.
Oh, and with the game coming out,
yeah. Strike while the iron is hot.
That's right.
Exactly.
The first volume, I think, like you guys were saying, is probably the Boom Studios.
Hellraiser 1 through however many they did.
Yeah, from 2011, and then the second one is the limited stories that they started doing, like the Road Below, the Dark Watch.
Yeah.
And then the third volume is the Hell on Earth movie special, the Book of the Damned #4. The Hair was 1 through 6, and Pinhead 1 through 6. That's a good archival, because all of those epic comics are a little out of print for many, many years now. So
I would prefer, if they were going to do that they include everything.
Yeah. Do nice hardback editions of all that again.
Yeah. I wonder why the Books of the Damned can't make it to this completely, because 3 and 4 are also pretty good, and they have work by the Wachowskis. And I wonder if they couldn't reach some sort of agreement, because I think when you were in Epic, the writers kind of owned their own material. So I don't know how that works, but
that could be it.
Yeah.
They also had like the summer special, the spring slaughter, the Christmas edition.
Yeah. I'm happy that people are going to be able to read Pinhead 1 through 6 again, because that was one of that was a wacky but enjoyable series. Seeing like primitive caveman Pinhead to today. That was good. Hopefully this new release of titles will open the doors for more Boom Studios comics. Sorry if I'm talking a little low today. It's like my broken rib, I have to breathe a little more shallow.
One of the things that spurned on this new love of Hellraiser, or people's remembering their love of Hellraiser, is the Hellraiser revival game, which we have some more news, right?
Yeah.
There's a release date. Finally, we've been talking about this release date since July of last year.
Finally, they gave it to us. October 8th. Yeah. A good time for a game like this to come out.
Yeah.
We always wonder if it was going to be Halloween related or, fall.
Yeah.
3 days after Clive's birthday. So that's a nice birthday gift for Clive. It looks really amazing. I mean, we've been seeing those video diaries that they were doing, and now it looks like they finally, after giving us a date, there's also been people who have been playing the demo and starting putting their reviews of it on YouTube. And
is the demo available for anybody right now?
No,
where are they getting this from?
This was at an event where they had a booth where people could go in and play the demo, I think.
Because the footage that you linked in the show notes has a little bug on the corner that says Hellraiser Discord. So it's the people we've talked to at the Hellraiser Revival Discord.
Sure. Maybe one of them was playing.
Yeah. Or maybe they talked him into giving them a demo.
Or
Could be,
they gave
yeah.
him the footage. Sometimes studios make footage of gameplay and they distribute that for videos, promotional videos like this. One funny thing is a lot of YouTube people, some of them are into Hellraiser, but there's been a couple that I've saw that actually did not know what Hellraiser was. And it's funny to see that being their first exposure to the Hellraiser mythology.
Somebody was saying, I saw some quote where somebody was saying, like, it's like Resident Evil, but it's horny or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that guy. I saw that YouTube. Yeah. It looks like, in my opinion, that those 7 minutes of footage, we seem to be able to see that they not only have melee attacks, but there's gunplay as well, which I'm ambivalent about. And there's puzzles. There's like puzzles that you have to solve. Not just puzzles in the sense of you need to unlock this door to go to that door that you need to go to, but also puzzles like in architectural puzzles. I'm assuming when you're in the labyrinth section of the game, which you can use the box to rotate tunnels, rotate pieces. If there's a bridge that you don't have, like you might have to find a way to rotate parts of the environment to create the bridge so you can move on. So that's kind of cool.
I can't wait to rotate my surroundings so I fall into the sky or something.
Right. And another thing I noticed is that in that gameplay, there's a point where the guy opens something and he finds like some ingredients, which I guess will be used in some kind of crafting system. So there might be some crafting in this game as well, because I saw the guy open like a drawer and it had like pick up this, pick up that, and there were like different bottles of stuff.
Some magic bullet making, or
But,
So if you die in hell and go to hell, do you just respawn in hell, or how's that work?
Yeah, that's interesting. I know that someone mentioned that the part where they were in hell, their character is naked. Someone's actually saying that if you look down, you can see his little, genitals. So I wonder how that works. Crazy blood-covered player with like a SMP walking the corridors of hell naked. That sounds interesting. Let's see how that works.
Yeah. Well, but historically in the comics, the Cenobites were like immune to regular physical attacks by weapons and stuff.
Yeah, but the cultists aren't.
Yes, the cultists.
Right.
I was gonna say there's like human people in this too, so you'll probably be shooting a lot of them.
If you saw the video, you see that the cultists, some of them have like BDSM leather outfits. And when you're shooting at them or killing them or setting them on fire, they're like, yes, more fire. I love pain. It's like they're writhing on the floor. Like, it's a little funny.
You're like, well, it's not fun if you enjoy it.
I know, right? Really?
Stop enjoying it.
And that's how you power up your Genesis box with the suffering that you inflict on others. So there's a part where someone was trying to use the box and it's like insufficient suffering, which I was like, that's a funny way to put it. They have to go shoot some more people.
An Energon cube.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to hurt them to charge up the globe. The Genesis orb.
Yeah. I wonder if you can hit yourself in the head with it just to get just a little bit more suffering.
One thing I found funny is someone saying that there's no jumping in the game, so you just walk like and run, I guess. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
like
true.
Doom.
Yeah. The original Doom did not have jumping. That's right.
Yeah. Sometimes you'd hit a little ledge that was only a foot tall, and you're like, well, I can't get over that. I'm stuck.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be cool. Definitely a mature game. A lot of footage of orgy rooms and all sorts of weird, kinky stuff. I appreciated the fact that they did a lot of world building in the environment, because there's a section where a guy is in an office and the books are like, the covers of the books read something like Forbidden Love or Extreme Love or something like that. And it looks like...
Decide and...
Yes. Stuff like that. So they really are going for that kinky, horny Resident Evil vibe, and they're putting enough stuff in there to make it work. I just think the biggest mistake that a Hellraiser game could make would be turning Pinhead and the Cenobites into just enemies to shoot.
It doesn't feel like that, though. It doesn't seem like that's the case. It seems like Pinhead's just kind of amused by this person trying to rescue his girlfriend.
And in the demo that people played, they just played a small, short section, and they didn't have a Pinhead show up. But one of the people said, I saw a Cenobite that had little glasses, and I think they mean Butterball.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a limited
we'll be seeing
gameplay.
it. I got mine ordered, so I'm
Oh,
ready to go.
What platform are you getting?
You get the little LED stand with the box, and it comes in a big box, a Cenobite box or Lamont configuration box.
Are you getting it for PC or for a console?
Steam, console.
Oh, Steam.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Steam,
Sure.
PC.
Okay. Yep.
I'm getting the PlayStation 5 one.
Okay.
I'll probably get Steam as well, because that's why I'm backing up my computer so I can get all the gigs free for that game. Because I don't know how big it's going to be, but nowadays games are
Thursday that comes out, so we'll see. Oh. Maybe I won't be going to work Friday.
Oh yeah,
people putting in their vacation days on like PTO. Sorry, boss.
Yep. They're planning out now. I'll be here at crack of midnight waiting for the drop, and I'll be playing.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah!
It seems like every time we have news, it's all about Hellraiser, and so of course we have one more Hellraiser piece of news. You can now pre-order the Trick or Treat Studios figures, right? The Hellraiser.
Oh yeah,
Hellraiser 1 figures. I mean, and they're clearly Hellraiser 1 because when you look at the female Cenobite, she looks like the Grace Kirby version.
Yeah, the original. Yep. They look really nice.
Yeah, super detailed.
Estimated to begin shipping is, I think, December 9, 2026. Oh. So you can get them for Christmas.
Yeah, and if you can buy them all together in the Hellraiser Scream Greats bundle for $159.96.
What's with the 96 cents though?
I don't know.
Such a weird amount of cents.
Yeah.
Usually it's 99, but
you can buy that bundle or you can buy them separately.
Yeah.
They look great. The female Cenobite looks pretty amazing, and they all look pretty solid. Pinhead's face looks a little busy with all those pins. They're going to be 8 inches tall.
He looks a little bit like the Nika one, also.
Yeah,
I think his outfit looks darker and shinier than this one.
Right.
Now, are they going to be posable, or are they just more
statues? Yeah, that's a good question. They don't look like they have bendable joints on them.
Okay.
It looks like the arms can turn.
It says here that on Trick or Treat Studios says articulation, they'll have a ball and socket neck, hinge and swivel shoulders, hinge and swivel elbows, and ball and socket wrists. And I'm not sure, but I think I read something that they might have, like, you can switch a head with another or switch a hand with another hand.
The mass. Yeah. That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I lost the puzzle box that Pinhead was holding in this Nika one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You have to make a little one with Play-Doh.
When I moved him out here to the studio, he'd lost that. So now he'll never be able to get back to hell.
You might find it. You might find it when the snow melts. You find it in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, the snow's melted already. It's like 80 degrees in here right now.
Wow.
It's like 60 here. We've had bad storms, so we're.
Well, we've got the sun is out all night.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I do know the name of the guy who sculpted these. So these were sculpted by Alexander Ray for Trick or Treat Studios.
All right.
And I think he did a bang up job. That chatter looks really good too.
Yeah, and Trick or Treat Studios also did Gwar figures recently too.
Oh, and they got masks for Hellraiser. So we'll link you guys to the website on the show notes where you can see the bundle or the separate ones. Our cup is overflowing for Hellraiser fans.
Right, really.
Well, that's it for news, I think. Next up, we're going to get into the Book of Blood discussion, right?
Yeah. So the Body Politic, which is an interesting one. This is a story that I think about often because I think about, out of all of Clive's stories, this one is the biggest, like, extended metaphor out of all of them. And I think it requires the most amount of suspense of disbelief because it's trying to sort of express a complicated idea. And I say complicated because I think that Clive Barker on his own is probably more for individuality and not being a cog in the system. right? And so he's exploring the horror of what if this is what I like, but what if the cogs in the what if everybody fell that way, right? Then society falls apart. And so, then like a body is made up of its parts, but what if all those parts are like, I don't want to be part of the body. I want to do something else.
Yeah, this brought to mind a story I listened to in my childhood in school. I think it was something like, I don't know if you guys have that story over there in the US too, but it was a story of like one day that the hands and the feet and whatever, they decided to stop working for the brain. And so they revolt against the brain. But then since they're not giving him food, then they all die when they start starving. I don't know where I got that story from, but I learned it in school. Something like, we all have to work together, to be able to keep the system working. That's basically the moral of the story.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's the same thing. It's like Charlie's hands, right? Is Charlie George? Charlie George. Yeah.
Yeah.
His hands start rebelling and start plotting. And at first it's kind of hard to understand if he's just getting paranoid or if something's actually working against him, but it escalates pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, Charlie George, his two hands start conspiring, talking to each other like this while he's asleep. And it seems like they're the first ones that figure out that this is even possible and learn how to do it. And so they have to lead the rebellion and try to get all the other hands to sever themselves from the body. And at first it's kind of this sort of spiritual, like metaphysical, well, what is there life after the body? What if we just chop ourselves off and we just die?
Yeah, they don't know what's going to happen. They're like questioning whether or not it is possible.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'd rather be dead than be with this person anymore. So let's do this.
They really resent all the basically being slaves to the body, which is interesting because the body is a made up of all of the parts. So I guess is the brain like the tyrant that makes all these other body parts do everything? Or the nervous system?
Well,
it's like the government.
The overlords.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's all a very well-made metaphor. And Charlie George you could say he belongs to the proletariat. He is a packaging worker, and he starts experiencing some aches in his wrists and hands in the morning when he wakes up. And at first he thinks it's like an occupational professional disease, but then he starts feeling pretty detached, right? I mean, there's parts at the beginning of the story where he's like, his hands are caressing his wife while they're, intimate. And his wife is like getting great amount of pleasure from his ministrations, but he's pretty much feeling like an alien to it. He's not feeling anything. And it makes him like feel alienated from touch, from intimacy. So he feels very weird about it. He talks to a friend at work, right? About that.
He talks about a psychiatrist he's been going to see.
Right. Yeah, that's right. The only adaptation, there's no comic adaptation of this, right? So the only adaptation is Quicksilver Highway by
Mick Garris.
Yeah. And in that, they focus more on somebody who depends on their hands. He's a plastic surgeon, right?
Yeah.
And so if his hands betray him even just a little bit, then he could really screw up his job.
Right. Interesting thing, the movie Quicksilver Highway, actually, when it was released, the two stories were put in a different order. Now it opens with the chattering teeth, right?
Oh, okay.
But
was
when it
that
came
on
out,
Fox? Was it like a Fox movie?
Someone put that on YouTube with the original commercials and everything. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Someone recorded on tape.
I watched it when it came out, but then I bought the DVD and, I only saw it the one time because I don't think they ever reran it after that.
So the original cut that the studio wanted him to do, it opened with Clive's story and then it ended with Stephen King's story. But then once they were going to home video, then Mick Garris had a chance to recut it, and then he put the chattery teeth at the beginning and then ends with Clive Barker's story. So that's what he wanted to do in the first place.
And it was really kind of a pilot. And so Quicksilver was going to travel across the country and tell these scary stories.
Oh, that would have been great.
Stephen King movie Sleepwalkers. where they had Clive Barker was in it. He played a
Yeah.
crime scene technician, and Stephen King was in it, and Nick, like
Yeah.
all those horror guys were in a scene together.
Yep.
Yeah. Also Mick Garris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another Mick Garris thing is that Mick Garris was a contributor to the Body book, which has the Body Politic in it. So it has In the Flesh and the Body Politic, and then Mick Garris's treatment for the In the Flesh movie that never happened, or his screenplay, is in that book.
We keep getting robbed of these great hypothetic anthology series.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah,
movies.
right, really?
Yeah.
I
So
mourn
this
the
is where
loss.
I first saw the story.
Me too. Yeah, that was
And-
before I switched to the individual like British volumes. That's what I
Yeah.
had first.
This is a science fiction book club. I found it, and that was my first Clive Barker story too.
Oh wow.
And still got the tag on there from Stephen King. I've seen the future horror, and his name is Clive Barker. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Back in the
And,
80s.
and there was more to it. It's like what is it? Like this guy does stuff that makes the rest of us look like we've been asleep for
the
a
last 20
decade or
years.
something like that. Yeah, that's it, for the last 20 years.
That's a great introduction, David. That's really good. This story, I think, is better seen, like Ryan was saying, as a metaphor. Like, for example, so there's a right hand and there's a left hand, right? And the right hand is the one that comes up with this idea of revolution.
Yeah.
And
Spiritual
so-
leader. Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, it calls itself the Messiah, right? I am the Messiah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which kind of echoes sometimes how leaders who want to create a revolution.
And in Quicksilver Highway, they have little chipmunky voices too. They're like, "I'm the Messiah."
Yeah, one of them is Mick Garris's voice. I listened to the commentary track for
Oh,
that.
really?
Yeah, it's a good commentary track on this DVD. I really recommend it if you can find a copy. It looks like when it came out in VHS, they also only made like 10,000 copies. And then when it came out on DVD, I don't know how much they made, but probably not that many. But nowadays, leaders also, they're political leaders, but they also try to bring in religion into the discourse because they know that it's a quick in to get people to vote for them. So I am the Messiah.
And that's the ultimate peer pressure.
Yeah. If you don't vote in me, you're voting against God.
Yeah.
Like at one point, the right hand says, "Without me, there's nowhere to go." So
Yeah, exactly.
He's already.
And like
saying,
when he's asleep, the hands will get together and do this weird finger talk about who's going to be cut off first. How are we going to do this?
And so they end up cutting off left hand, right? So that it can go gather more supporters, and they can all come back together to the Messiah, to free the Messiah.
Yeah, because the right hand is the most dexterous, right? The one that can do the clean cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all these poor people that are, going to end up going through the rest of the story with no hands. But I guess it's, if their hands are openly in revolt, they're not any good to them anyway.
So at first, like I was saying at the beginning, we don't know if this is in his head or if it's real, but he talks to one of his friends at work and he recommends a head shrinker, psychiatrist, right? Dr. Judwine.
Yeah.
And Judwine is a typical Freudian. He thinks there probably is some trauma there. And I think he manages to extract from Charlie the memory of his father in his casket.
And his hands in the casket. And
his hands crossed, big man hands with like coarse hair. And as a kid, he had this idea that the hands would still be alive and they would be beating in the coffin, demanding to be let out. So that was what the shrink thinks. Oh, that's your trauma. So now that we brought this out into the open, we put some light on that memory. Now you're probably going to get better. But it really is. It's more than that. It's more than that. So he completely misses the fact that there is definitely something very wrong happening. Poor Ellen, Charlie's wife, she gets to witness the hands talk on his stomach one night, and they don't like it. So they kind of jump up, and that's really scary. If you think about your hands, they're how you manipulate the world, right? They're what you use to express yourself when you're using your
Yeah.
hands, or that's what you use to work. That's what you use to caress or fight, or it's how we handle the things in our life. It's with our hands.
Well, and
So
one part of this that we have to suspend our disbelief about too is how much of the rest of his body do these hands control? Like the arms, right? Do they control his arms? Because he can reach out. He's still asleep, and they're reaching out to strangle Ellen while Charlie's still asleep.
And how do the fingers feel about this? Are they all like,
Yeah, right.
we got the hitman telling us what to do here. So
the tyranny of the palm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, right. Really.
maybe it's just certain parts. Although in the story, one of the characters, when he sees that happening, he wonders, like, what about the other parts of my body? Does my tongue want to go out? Does my nose want to go out?
Yeah.
A little further ahead, as this goes on, there's like I think one of the legs is touched by hand, and it starts, hey, I think these people are onto something here. Maybe I don't want to be running all the time for this person.
Or at the end of Quicksilver Highway, that lady's nose starts like twitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That lady was actually Steve Johnson's makeup artist, and also I think it was his girlfriend at the time. And that was done with like a prosthetic over her real nose with some fish line on both sides, and people just tweaking it, and that's how her nose keeps like moving. And she gets the big scissors.
Yeah.
He kills Ellen in his sleep because it's when he sleeps that his hands are free to act, because his wife saw the hands conspire, and the hands are like, well, they dispatch her.
She's got to go.
And then that's a horrible night, right, for Charlie, because he not only wakes up with he's also, in some way, the hands are also controlling what he dreams, because he's dreaming that he's in a slave boat and he's throttling the captain. But then he wakes up and it's actually his wife, and his wife has got her tongue out, her eyes are rolling back in her head.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's horrified at what he does, but then the hands don't let go. And there's a moment where he's coming out of bed and he's still dragging his wife's body. He's like, and then the hands let go, and that's when he just starts freaking out, goes down to the kitchen where the knives are.
So the hands are like, okay, it's now or never. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So they cut off the left hand, against his will, and he's fighting back. He's trying. And so by the time the police get there, I found this really interesting, and I hadn't remembered this, but he tries to tell him, he believes like he's just crazy and he murdered his wife. And the police are like, no, obviously that's not what happened, because your hand got cut off.
Yeah, you're the victim, right?
Yeah, somebody broke in here and killed your wife and cut off your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he does come clean with them. He does say that, no, it was me. I killed my wife and I cut off my hand. But then when he does that, if this was all in his head, his hand would just be there, right? But his hand doesn't stay there. There's life after the body.
Yeah.
Right? When the cops come in, one of them sees like a little red spider like scurry through the little cat door, and then one of the cops goes like, "What was that? Did you see that?"
Yeah.
And it's like the other guy goes like, "Cat." It's like,
yeah. So can a hand bleed to death?
I guess not.
There's a lot of this doesn't bear too much scrutiny.
Well, it would be a short story if it did. But I think there's some reticence between the hands, like knowing if that's going to work or not, right?
Yeah.
And then when it does, the left hand is almost like euphoric with the sense of freedom, right? No more tyrant. Now I can go and spread the revolution, and it's by touch that it's going to spread this revolution, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Every hand they touch gets the idea, except a very few don't. They decide they like where they are.
Right.
But most people don't. The hand gets out and starts gathering recruits. Yeah. And goes to, was it a hostel or a rehab facility?
A YMCA.
Yeah. And like Sergeant Yapper and Colonel Christie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Colonel Christie is like a night guard at the YMCA. Clive spent some time describing how this guy has hemorrhoids and he doesn't have a comfortable position to sit in. And then he kind of just dozes off to sleep. And when he wakes up, he senses something weird and wet on his hand. And he oh my God, he's holding a severed hand.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh. But, the deed is done.
then-
The revolution has spread to his hand. Being a night guard at a YMCA, he has a big kukri knife, those weird, like, crooked knives that the Gurkhas have, the British Indian Gurkhas.
They kind of look like a boomerang.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are cool. He cuts off his hand and then his left hand, as he falls down, do the work of grabbing the knife, the two hands, and chopping his other hand off.
Yeah.
And
Poor guy.
And that's the end of our
Christy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a
one guy
funny.
locks himself in the bathroom and is watching all his friends going after each other, cutting hands off.
Right.
And one guy's at the door screaming, help me, while he's trying to cut his hands off,
Yeah.
Everybody's going totally crazy in there.
Yeah.
I like that. That character is Boswell. The funny thing is that the guy is saying, help me. And then he just locks the door on him. Yeah, but he gets away, right?
He gets out the
manages to
window.
escape.
Yeah, he jumps out.
But the YMCA is total chaos, right? Because
Yeah.
people who are not,
And then
who don't have knives to cut them, they're being strangled by their own hands. They're strangling other people.
There's one woman who's like stabs her eyes out with her long fingernails.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that one person they're changing a tire and they hear something and it's just like a little army of hands coming at them.
Yeah.
And then they can't believe what's happening. They think it's like, some like rats or something, but no, it was like little army of hands gathering
like
everybody they come across.
Like the thing from the Addams Family, times 1,000.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's got their little hand like doing this. And you can hear that weird noise.
Yeah.
Of all these little fingers going in unison.
I found the quote I wanted to say. It's like when the guy's trying to ask for help. Help me, he screeched. He slammed the door in the punk's pleading face. Help you be fucked, thought Boswell. And he just runs out of there, jumps out of the window, out of the first floor, and he just keeps running and running and running. And that's the end of Boswell that we see until near the end of the story. There's a lady that thinks she sees some sort of animal crossing the road, and it's the hands, like you said. Long nails do more damage.
Yeah.
So gory. This is one of Clive Barker's more gory tales, other than the Hellbound Heart, I think.
It's definitely the most body horror out of all of his.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And meanwhile, while this is going on, the psychiatrist,
Jude Wine.
He called the psychiatrist and told him what was happening, and he didn't believe it. But then he finally goes to this scene of the crime and realizes that, oh, wow, this guy was way crazier than I thought. No, at first he thinks there's something, he's a victim, but then later he finds out that, no, he's the perpetrator. And it's like, I'm going to write a best-selling book on this.
Yeah.
He's got this deep-seated psychosis of hands, and here he is strangling people with his hands and cutting his own hand off, and he's like, I got a 5-series book on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing talk shows, and he's really planning out his little future there.
Yeah, such a cynical view of psychiatrists.
He also feels a little like he failed Charlie.
He does,
he
but then he gets over it real quick.
He actually starts crying. He falls to his knees, beginning to tremble, and he sinks to the dining room carpet. And then he senses something in his lap, and it's his two hands, and they got their index fingers pointed at him. They turn and crawl up his chest, so they strangle him to death. So that's the end of Jude Wine. It looks like the revolution is also in the air, because he doesn't get touched by any hands, but his own hands. It has this theme that this is something that's the world gets fractured, and what we thought was taken for granted, like being able to use our bodies like we want to, the reality is kind of fractured. And at this point, the hands are they've always been like subject to the body, but now something's in the air and they decide to revolt. Poor Charlie George is in the hospital, and then he has another dream that is choking on something, and then a nurse wakes him up. His right hand was trying to choke him to death, and she's like, nobody believes that his hands are alive. I mean, the police doesn't believe him. The nurses don't believe him. The nurse wants to give him like a shot for him to sleep. It's like, no, because when I sleep, it's when they they're alive when I sleep. So, I don't want to, he kind of runs off the room with a syringe in his arm.
And he doesn't he make a deal with the right hand? He's like, hey, I'm going to cut you off. Because, like, you're no good to me right now anyway. So, and you're just going to kill me while I'm asleep. So I'd rather just get rid of you.
Yeah. The hand's like going along with this. Yes, this person's finally seeing sense. I'll work with this.
One funny moment is when he's running out of the room. It says he bolted away down the ward, his escape egged on by patients on the right and left. Go, boy, go! Someone yelled.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, like they're all prisoners in the hospital.
Yeah.
And he goes through an older section that's being under construction. Finally, he gets to the roof.
Yeah.
And he knows he can't cut his hand off because it'll kill him. But he's trying to play it along like, I'm trying to find something to cut you off. While he tries to go to the roof and, like, all right, if I jump off, this is high enough, or if I jump, I'll die and I'll take this thing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before he goes to the roof, though, he sees what I think is one of the most fascinating images in the story. He's in the garden and he looks up and he sees a tree, and the tree seems to have birds in it, but they're not birds. They're hands.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, they've found the Messiah and they're trying to liberate it.
Yeah. And the movie, the adaptation has that scene as well, but I think in the movie, it's not as striking as what I imagined.
Well, yeah. Limited CGI budget and everything.
Yeah. But that is horrifying to see a tree with hands jumping from branch to branch, and then they start jumping down, and hands are kind of like spiders. So it's so freaky. Like, I don't like the Thing in the Addams Family, because that thing is just going around like this. And it's just I'm not a spider guy. So that shot is amazing. And that's when he starts running, and that's when he goes to the roof.
Yeah. I read this like a month ago when we were getting ready for it the first time. And so I'm in my mind, I think I'm mixing up the ending of Quicksilver Highway with the ending of this story. Does he jump off the roof and all of the hands jump with him and they all die? Or is that just in Quicksilver Highway?
That's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
He goes up to the roof and then he thinks, what's the sound of? And then, of course, what's the sound of one hand clapping?
Hand clapping.
So he has that moment of Zen just before he falls.
And because his right hand is the Messiah, they all want to go follow him.
Yeah, he pitches himself. And to the patients and nurses crammed at the windows, it was a scene from a world of wonders. A rain of frogs would have been commonplace beside it. So he falls, and then the hands follow him, following the Messiah, and they all fall down the cliff, which seems like a good metaphor for what happens when people start a revolution, but they have the wrong leader. It never ends well.
Follow them all to their doom. Yep.
Yeah.
But that's not the actual ending of the story. So then we go back to Boswell. Right? Because Boswell was that black teenager who kept running and running and running. And then he, at some point, he doesn't even know why he's running anymore, but he keeps running. And then all of a sudden he throws himself down on the train tracks and he gets run over by a train. And we see him at the end at the hospital. He kind of comes up of his shock, and he hears these footsteps coming into his room. It's his legs. His legs are there. I don't even know how to imagine. I can't even imagine a couple of cut off legs walking. How does that even work? But they're there.
They could hop. Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine the
ankle movements.
Them hopping, right? Yeah. He says his bloodshot eyes scanned the room and came to rest on the naked feet a yard from his nose. A tag around the ankle marked them for the furnace. And it's his legs, and they're just there. They stop in front of him just so he sees them, and then they just walk away. And he stays there, and he starts. He's freaking out because now it's like, what's going to happen? Are my hands, are my my ears, or is my nose, or my eyes going to want to jump out of my? And the great ending for that. He waited heart in mouth for the fall of empire. So what's going to be the next uprising, right? It's
It's like that. There's that Dr. Seuss book about the pants with no one inside them. And they're like these spooky glow in the dark pants that show up at night and scare everybody because there's no one inside them. They walk around.
I didn't get Dr. Seuss in Portugal, but that sounds like a weird story. But this is a really, really funny. I could see how this would allow itself to be adapted to a movie pretty easily. Yeah. And
or in this case, like a 45-minute short.
Sure.
Like a dark comedy type thing. Yeah.
In the movie, you guys want to talk about the movie just a little bit? Because the movie is funny.
Yeah.
Sure.
It has Max Headroom in it.
Yes. Matt Freuer.
Matt Frewer.
Yeah. And Christopher Lloyd. They kind of look similar. They always look similar to me. But in this movie, Christopher Lloyd has a weird wig and he's got this collar around his neck and he's got this leather outfit. He's looking like a carny.
Isn't Clive Barker one of the doctors?
He is. In the story, Charlie is a packaging guy, right? He just works with packages all day. He's kind of a factory worker or whatever. But in the movie, he's a rich surgeon with a rich wife and a wonderful mansion. One of the things I wanted to know is if you look at the cover of Clive's authorized biography, The Dark Fantastic, Clive is standing on some stairs, circular stairs that go up.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the stairs in this house, which I saw that this movie was shot in Santa Monica and Beverly Hills, the stairs in the movie have the same railings as this. So I'm wondering if it was shot in Beverly Hills, if we're looking at Clive's house.
Clive Barker's house,
Could be.
Nick Garris doesn't really say that. He just says, we shot this in Beverly Hills at someone's house. He never says where or who it belonged to, but the railing is exactly the same. And also in Lord of Illusions, when Swan's body is in the coffin upstairs and D'Amour comes down from the stairway and stuff, it also looks like the same stairway. So I'm wondering if that stairway is in this cover and in two other movies. I don't know. It looks the same to me, but what do I know? I'll leave that.
It has a thing for spiral staircases.
Yeah. I'll leave that to the screenshot archers out there who want to take a look at that.
Yeah.
So Charlie's a surgeon in this one. And like you said, Clive Barker is one of the doctors. And the other doctor is
John Landis.
John Landis. That's the guy.
His glasses. Yeah. He has glasses and a beard. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a mask, but that's him because you can see screenshots and images of Mick Garris and Clive Barker and John Landis, along with Matt Freuer. Clive has a funny line because Charlie's about to make an incision on the patient who's having her sixth lift. And all of a sudden, his hand just throws the scalpel and it hits the wall right in front of Clive Barker's face. And he lowers the mask like, what did I ever do to you?
Yeah.
So
well, and one interesting thing about that story too is that movie is that Matt Frewer also plays a pickpocket who runs into Aaron Quicksilver, and Quicksilver's telling him the story, and he's telling it almost like it's a fictional story, and he's putting Matt Frewer's pickpocket character in the place of the surgeon who goes through the body politic story. So it's almost like it's a fictional story that he's telling, and he's like, now imagine yourself in his position. Yeah, it's the same actor playing both. Yeah,
and being a pickpocket, he's got to be quick and very agile with his hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of themes in this story. There's revolution that devours its ideals. Revolution can start with legitimate grievances, but then it can descend into monstrous atrocities and violence.
Become worse than the thing that they were revolting against.
The hands can become as tyrannical as the bodies that they're trying to overthrow. And, the illusion of self-control and that sort of thing.
Right.
I guess it's kind of clear that the hands are really alive. But at the beginning, I thought maybe that was just some subconscious expressing itself through his hands.
Yeah. Until the hand starts crawling away. But I'd have to go back to high school to remember the first time I read it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm reading the story. It's like, okay, your hands are conspiring against you. What do you really know about your body?
Yeah.
Mhm.
When you're asleep, what's going on? What
Yeah.
are there parts of your body that are thinking this way or?
Well, and like cancer is your cells revolting, doing crazy chaotic
Out of
stuff
control.
instead of what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
like son of celluloid, that comes alive,
Yeah.
takes a life of its own, a life force.
Yeah.
So
It's almost like when the power goes out, you realize how much you use electricity. And it's like, if your hands wouldn't work, you can do basic things like just scratch yourself, wash yourself, pick up things, feed
Yeah.
yourself. You're completely at the mercy of these things that we take for granted. And if something
Yeah.
happens that it immobilizes you or incapacitates you, it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare. And if a body part decided to rebel against humanity, which one would be most terrifying and why?
no, God, who knows?
My eyes. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to
Yeah.
say my eyes too, because if everybody
Yeah.
was blind, it would be the end
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What if your eyelids wanted to separate from your body?
Yeah, right. Really.
But then how are they
Or-
going to grab a knife?
Right.
How are they gonna get your hands to help liberate them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever see Doom Patrol on HBO Max? DC
Yeah.
comic?
I don't think I saw it all the way through to the end.
Is that the
But I
group
saw
that
a
has
bunch of it.
a metal man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have these
Oh, yeah.
creatures in it that are like these butt creatures.
Yes.
Imagine if
right.
your butt wanted to separate from its body, you would run around like some butt monster like those things,
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to clench itself up and you just start swelling up.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
right.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got some feedback from the internet, so we'll start with Reddit. Internal Machine 487 says, years ago I was visiting my grandparents and we all went to the mall. I went to a bookstore and saw a standee for Clive Barker books, and the image of it was for In the Flesh, like the one that you showed, David. And so I was drawn to it. I ended up picking. Oh no, In the Flesh is the other one. Never mind. I take that back.
Yeah, yeah. This is the inhuman condition.
He said, and I ended up picking up the Inhuman Condition, and I had to sleep in the basement, and I got to reading it at night, and I was reading the Body Politic, and I remember my hands tingling while reading it. That was my beginning of my love for Clive Barker.
That's a great
And-
story.
The Explanation 7512 says, the first time I read the Body Politic, I was probably 16 or 17, and let me just say I was completely shocked and giddy with delight with what I had just read. I had since read, over the years, The Body Politic 4 different times, and I still get the same demented glee. A fabulous short story, one of Clive's best. Hermione Gunther Snuff says, definitely one of my favorites. When I first read Books of Blood as a kid, the Quicksilver Highway adaptation was an intense letdown, as they often are. I would have to say, in Mick Garris's defense, how do you adapt that into a movie that doesn't look crazy? I mean,
Especially back then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today, maybe with some CGI, maybe a little bit better in the hands, but
it would still be kind of almost the same. It would just have a little bit.
Yeah.
They would just have a little bit better special effects.
yeah, I think they could play up the humor of it a little bit more. The hands
Yeah.
arguing, and
Yeah. Right. Special Barracuda 759 said, yay, this made me recognize how awesome Barker was. I read it while in rehab back in 2013. And JMR 185 says, love this one. So many great moments. And yeah, so that was our Reddit comments. And then we have a few more I think we have at least one from our Facebook page. John Toth said, I totally love this story. Next to In the Hills, the City. He wrote Gave's story. I'm not sure what he meant by that. Maybe great. I'm not. Yeah. And in our listeners group, Stephen Cook said, the Body Politic is a story that I could personally relate to. After sustaining severe neck and facial injuries due to swimming pool accident, lying on
Ouch.
the ground and staring at my paralyzed hands for a few hours scared the hell out of me. Looking
Yeah.
at them for hours trying to will them to move is not an experience that I will wish on anyone or repeat. That does sound horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
Thanks
sounds
for
a little
sharing
personal
that.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the listeners group. And yeah, I think that was our last one, actually. Interesting story. Like I said, I don't think it bears up to a lot of intense scrutiny because most Clive Barker stories aren't super like realistic, but this one is a little more metaphorical. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. In terms of the themes that it approaches and the idea of
Yeah.
revolution and how it can spiral out of control.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Out of trivia, Charlie's wife in the movie is actually Mick Garris's wife. So he was
Yeah.
directing. He was directing them when they're in the bathtub kissing. A little awkward, but
Yeah.
great job there.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming next, we'll have Clive's contemporary commentaries for 1987. So which of these movies can stand up against Hellraiser, right? Hellraiser came out in 1987. So it was a tie. You all voted and it ended up being a tie between Prince of Darkness and Angel Heart. So I think we're going to end up
No.
doing both. So we'll
Oh,
do
yeah.
audio commentaries for both of those movies.
I love those two movies. I
Yeah.
haven't watched Prince of Darkness in such a long time, but it's such
I
a
haven't seen
seminal-
Angel Heart since it first came out on video, like in the 80s. So,
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Mickey
Prince of
Rourke.
Darkness is one of my favorites. Little gem of a movie there.
I think that my teenage impression of Prince of Darkness is like, how come the devil is just this green goo? And I was like feeling let down because the devil was just green goo, and I wanted to see something cool.
Right.
So I'm interested to give it another shot from maybe a more mature perspective.
I thought the devil was the hand that we see grabbing from inside the mirror, or maybe that was just a demon. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to see it again. And of course, Alice Cooper. I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan. And
He's the
in that
hobo,
movie.
right? That
Yeah.
Mhm.
outside their
He
window.
gives a lot of evil stares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
They did one of those filming locations at the place. It was pretty cool seeing that church where it really is and the whole area around it and the college where they filmed in the beginning.
What city is that in?
It's out in California,
Okay.
Okay.
but I think it was the LA area.
Probably. Yep.
We'll have more news and interviews and the book club of blood. The next one will be the Inhuman Condition. That's the one with the knots, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be fun. Kind
That's
of a
almost
proto
Oh my God, I was going to
Hellraiser,
say
yeah.
that. I was going to say proto Hellraiser because the knots are a puzzle and there's like a derelict guy. So, wow. You just took the words out of my mouth.
So we have a few shout outs to do. People have sent us stuff in private messages, so I want to give some shout outs. So Roger Boys, who our longtime listeners might remember, he was on our first like 5 episodes or so. He's got an album now under his Dr. Zombie with an X.
Yeah.
His Dr. Zombie pseudonym. And so it's on his Bandcamp page, so you can check that out. We've got a link to that in the show notes. And Danny Stewart's book about the making of Hellraiser 3, War is Hell, got an online review. So we've got a link to that so you can take a look at it. And this is one that I just threw on today because I'm anticipating the Days of the Dead Chicago, and I bought Hellraiser 3 and 4 Laserdiscs.
Oh.
And the guy
Wow.
who sent me the Hellraiser 4
Shiny.
Laserdisc, his name is Joseph Edwards. He wrote me a long note in here. He said, "Salutations. Thank you very much for your purchase. Clive Barker has long been amongst the best horror directors of all time. I've enjoyed all of his films, and most especially the Hellraiser movies." That's hard to read. "Pinhead will always be the greatest of all Cenobites. Doug Bradley brings so much something to the screen in the role.
Gravitas.
So much
maybe?
fun. It starts with a P. Pretense, preference,
Presence.
That's it.
Presence.
It's presence. Brings so much presence to the screen in the role. So much fun. Enjoy. Have fun and keep on
Trucking.
Waterly."
All right. Wow, that's a
Thanks
really
again.
lovely note.
Joseph Edwards, and he put a bunch of smiley faces on there. So shout out to
Yeah.
Joseph Edwards. I sent him a message saying, hey, we're going to give you a shout out on the podcast. Because I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, my
Awesome.
eBay name is CB_podcast. So maybe he figured out that we do the Clive Barker podcast from my handle. I don't know.
It's a dead giveaway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to some of Dr. Zombie's album, Earth X, and I really enjoyed it, especially the second song. It's very, very, it's called Our Strange Love. And I was just doing stuff while I was playing, and it's really synthy and nice. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So check it out. And we want to
Cool.
give a shout out to our Patreon members. Thanks again for you guys. Keep us going. Even if we take a long break, we still really appreciate you. So thank you to David Anderson, Eric Vanderholt, Daniel Elvin, Amanda Stewart, Bradley Gartz, Marcus, Matthew Batten, Bennett, Jesse, Timothy Raymakers, Terry Murdoch, and John. And to our sponsors, Don Bertram Celebrate Imagination, Ed Martinez's YouTube channel, and the Now Playing podcast, which I've spent a lot of my time on vacation watching movies and listening to the Now Playing podcast about those movies. So I've even watched some really horrible Marvel movies. Like, have you ever heard of Man-Thing?
Yeah. I love his
Yes.
comic book stories.
Well, have you seen the movie of Man-Thing?
Nope.
It is god awful. It
Oh,
is
no.
terrible. Yeah. Yeah. And Howard the
even know
Duck.
there was a
I
movie.
watched that again, which I hadn't seen since I was a kid.
Oh God, that sucks.
Howard the Duck.
Oh yeah,
that's
Man Thing. It's from that first batch of movies like Daredevil, Blade, Spider-Man.
Yeah. And it was but it was an order of magnitude worse than all of those. Even like Daredevil and stuff. It was just really, really bad.
I knew about Man Thing before I knew about Swamp Thing. And then I thought,
Oh, yeah.
once I found out about Swamp Thing, I was like, Man Thing's just a copy of Swamp Thing. And yeah.
But
I
Howard
like
the Duck was the very first Marvel theatrical movie.
Sure. And there's duck tits in that movie for some reason
Yeah.
at the end.
I know, right?
Yes.
They don't have mammary glands. Why? Why?
Yeah, they're not mammals, but whatever.
Oh God. But it's a
Yeah.
fun movie. Say what you will. I mean, whatever.
And well,
I like
if you watch it now, it's like nonstop, really, really bad duck puns. I mean, a lot of them aren't even puns. They're just stupid.
Mhm.
Well, being an Ernest fan, I have to tell you that, Ernest's also a bunch of bad puns sometimes.
No, he doesn't
But-
do puns. He just says crazy non sequitur stuff.
Yeah, Vern.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
I'll watch Man Thing. I'm curious now.
Okay.
I never
Oh,
watched it. It's
God.
from 2005.
It's actually a horror movie.
Yeah, it has to be, right? It's one of those. Cool.
Yeah.
So thanks, David Blair, for talking to us today. It was
Yeah.
really fun to hear your experience that the Inhuman Condition was your first foray into
Yeah.
Clive Barker.
Thanks for
hope
having
to
me.
Hope to see you again on our next Book Club of Blood.
Yeah.
Yes, I enjoy doing these very much.
And this podcast, having no beginning, will have no end. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed or followed our podcast. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that's not affiliated with Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Reddit, Blue Sky, or our Discord server. Have you already bought our book? The BarkerCast Interviews Occupy Midian, available in Amazon hardcover, Kindle, and Apple Books. Join our Patreon and become a patron to get access to exclusive stuff, pick an episode topic, or maybe join in the discussion. You can also buy a t-shirt in our TeePublic store. Just go to teepublic.com/stores/BarkerCast. Leave a voicemail for us on the SpeakPipe link on our blog and we might put it in the episode. Opening and ending music generously provided by Ray Norrish.
Thanks for listening.